You and we use the internet literally every single day, almost every waking hour, right? But if I asked you right this second to picture where the internet actually physically exists, what do you see? It's a pretty fascinating question, and honestly, the real answer is something most of us just never realize. So, let's dive right into this explainer and completely flip how you look at the modern world.
Does the internet come from space satellites? I'm willing to bet that when you think of your data or when you hear people talk about the cloud, your first instinct is to look up. You're probably picturing these invisible signals beaming down from orbiting satellites, just magically connecting your phone to the rest of the globe. And hey, it's a super futuristic, really romantic idea. But the gritty reality is actually way more grounded. Or, well, I should say, submerged.
99%. I really want you to just let the sheer scale of that number sink in for a second. 99% of the global internet does not travel through space. It's not floating around up in the sky. It actually travels at the absolute bottom of the ocean. There is this sprawling, hidden network of millions of kilometers of cables just resting right there in the dark, crushing depths of the seafloor. That is the actual, physical backbone of our entire digital lives.
Every single time you shoot a WhatsApp message to a friend overseas, or stream a YouTube video, or make a secure online payment, or even just do a quick Google search, that data is literally racing through a physical cable thousands of meters underwater. And the stakes here are incredibly high. Think about it. If this underwater network were to somehow shut down for just a single day, our entire global economy, modern banking systems, worldwide communication, the whole shebang would come to a complete and devastating halt. We are physically tethered to the seabed.
Section 1. The real world of the internet. Connecting continents.
The sheer dominance of these ocean cables is just mind-blowing when you compare it directly to space. That massive 99% chunk, that represents millions of kilometers of submarine cables physically binding our continents together. And that tiny, almost invisible 1% sliver, that is all the data handled by space satellites. Seriously, satellites are essentially just used for maritime backup or maybe highly remote research stations in places like Antarctica. The heavy lifting of the entire digital age, it's an underwater operation.
Section 2. What is fiber optic? Demystifying the technology.
So how does this actually work underwater? We tend to imagine these thick, heavy electric wires just pumping raw electricity across the ocean floor. But the reality is far more delicate. These cables, they're often no thicker than your standard backyard garden hose. And inside that protective casing are incredibly fragile glass fibers. Each one is unbelievably thin, literally the width of a single human hair. Plus, the data doesn't travel via electricity at all. It actually travels as pure light signals shooting through these microscopic glass tubes in the absolute pitch-black darkness of the ocean deep.
And because this data is traveling as pure light, it moves at mind-boggling speeds. Imagine a flashlight beam crossing an entire ocean basin in the literal blink of an eye. That incredible velocity is what allows fiber internet to transfer massive, almost incomprehensible amounts of data. We're talking millions of high-definition videos, emails, and financial transactions going from one continent to another in a single second. It's this exact science that makes our seamlessly fast internet possible today.
Moving on to Section 3. Who lays the cables? Building the underwater web.
Okay, picture this. A massive, highly specialized cable-laying ship slowly chugging across the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean. Its hull is loaded with thousands of kilometers of this incredibly expensive fiber-optic cable. As it slowly makes its journey, it meticulously lowers the line down into the abyssal depths. But, in the shallower coastal areas, simply dropping it isn't going to cut it. Here, they use massive underwater plows. They drag them along the seabed to actually dig a trench, bury the cable deep under the sand, and then cover it all back up. It's a pretty dramatic but absolutely vital precaution to protect it from the chaos of the physical world.
Section 4. What if a cable breaks? The hidden vulnerabilities. Because here's the thing. Despite the incredible technology packed inside them, these crucial glass threads are remarkably vulnerable. Earthquakes shifting the ocean floor, yeah, they can absolutely snap a cable in an instant. Now, people used to worry about shark bites damaging the lines, which sounds crazy, but the most common threat is actually entirely human. The real danger is just a clumsy boat captain carelessly dropping an anchor in the wrong spot, or a massive commercial fishing net dragging along the seafloor. Multiple times a year, the internet is noticeably slowed down, or even completely cut off in certain countries, all because a piece of heavy metal snagged a garden hose-sized cable underwater.
And the world simply cannot afford for these lines to stay broken. So an entire fleet of specialized repair ships remains on standby 24/7, all around the globe, ready for digital triage.
The exact moment a cable is severed, a ship rushes out to the precise GPS coordinates in the middle of the ocean. They deploy these heavy grapnels to reach down thousands of meters into the deep, hook the broken ends, haul them all the way up to the deck, perfectly splice the hair-thin glass back together, and then carefully lower the repaired line back down. It is a super high-stakes, around-the-clock rescue operation, just for the internet.
Which brings us to our final section. Who controls the internet? The masters of the deep.
There is a massive power shift happening right now across the globe. Previously, this entire internet infrastructure was built and controlled almost entirely by traditional telecommunication companies and national governments. But today, we are seeing multi-billion-dollar investments pouring in from big tech. Companies like Google, Meta, and Microsoft are aggressively funding and laying their own private cables across the oceans. They want absolute assurance that their massive amounts of user data can be delivered globally without having to rely on third-party telecom lines. The control of our underwater web is actively changing hands as we speak.
So, the most important technology in the world isn't floating above our heads in the stars at all. It's hidden deep in the dark oceans, right beneath our feet. Our entire connected existence relies on fragile glass threads resting on the